Well, listeners, I've just had the privilege of sitting down and watching a brand new series called Buried that I know a lot of you out there are going to absolutely love. So we thought, you know what, we want to get to know a little bit more about this series. So we thought today we would actually get the producer of this series, Fran Derham, on the phone right now to chat a little bit about this brand new series. Fran, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
No worries. Now, Fran, tell us a little bit about Buried, because I know this is a show our listeners is going to love. So tell us a little bit about Buried and how you became involved with it.
Buried is a 5-part short form comedy, a black comedy. We're sort of titling it Mum Noir, like Bush Noir and Nordic Noir, about a single mum who kills a cyclist in the morning school run and then has to dispose of the body by school pickup. And it's dark, it's funny, and it's fast-paced, and it has all these mum moments, these relatable incidences that as mothers happen to us every single day. And we've wrapped it up in this little comedy. It's available on YouTube. We launched it on Wednesday night at 5 p.m. And you can access it via our website, buriedtheseries.com, or the YouTube channel. So that's what it is. And the co-creators are Charlotte George and Miriam Glazer. Charlotte wrote and directed the series, and Miriam Glazer wrote and stars in the series as the lead actress, Abby Cohen. And I produced it. So how did I get involved? I worked on a TV show called Surviving Summer, which is a Netflix teen surf series that you may or may not have heard of. It's it's a sort of teen surf series, so great for all those listeners out there who are searching for some content for 8 to 15-year-olds that isn't too sexy. It's sport-based and really well produced with high production value. So Charlotte George directed an episode on season 1, and I was the associate producer on season 1. So Charlotte and I met doing that, and Charlotte sent me the scripts when I'd finished shooting Surviving Summer Season 2 and said, would you be interested in producing this? And I read the scripts, and it's not often that you read the scripts and you laugh out loud and you can really connect and relate to it. Like sometimes as a producer, there's a lot of creative work to be done in which you have to inject, a bit more of what you want to see on screen, but these scripts had just that je ne sais quoi. And, so I decided to take on the project and haven't looked back, really.
I think you kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask, what was it about those screenplays that made you want to be involved? Was it just the humour of it that really, really touched you?
Yeah, it was the humour, and just, like I said, the insight into what being a mum's about, and the way the girls have injected just the metaphor of motherhood into sort of every single detail. Sometimes when I watch shows, I find them too simple. There's not enough meaning, there's not enough political undertone, but this show, for such a short series, captures the layers of motherhood and of the society we live in, and this sort of era of political correctness that we're finding ourselves in, and we poke fun at it as well as bringing in some of the stereotypes that you see in everyday life. Like, we've got this great character who's played by Michael Logo. You might recognise him from Colin from Accounts. Yeah. And he plays this constable Constable Broadbent, who has an arts degree, and he's always commenting on the political correctness of things, and his partner is like, oh, you're so artsy-fartsy, and you like Picasso, and anyway, and he's like this well-meaning police officer with an artistic bent, and it's just the detail and the level of character development for such a short show that really captured my imagination, and the fact that it moves, so the plot moves. Like often, and I think your audience will understand when you're watching a show and the writing's really good but nothing happens, and then you're watching a show, the plot's really good but the writing's not fabulous, and this just combines both of them. Like the writing is good and the show moves along, like it moves somewhere. And as a producer, that's what I'm looking for. And I couldn't help myself, really.
Definitely. Well, one of the things that really stood out to me as well was just the fact, though, that this is an everyday person that finds themselves in an extraordinary kind of position as well. And I think that comes across really well and is treated in a really good way. But like you said, this is one of those shows that the mother character just comes across so well as well, like an everyday character. Was that something that was really important for you to capture, that this was just an everyday mum and it wasn't Wonder Woman that all this stuff was happening to?
Yeah, definitely. And Miriam, I think this is the unique thing about projects that have an actor who's part of the writing process. They're able to really think about the characters and they have a little bit more time to digest really what playing that character means and what they want to do with the character. And you can see in the detail of Miriam's expression, one, she's just a great actress and has great comic timing, but then she's also brings that layer, not only because she can act, but also because she is a mum in real life and she just understands just the subtleties of that.
Also, surrounding Miriam as well, there are an amazing cast that you've been able to put together with some of the other roles as well. Tell us a little bit about the casting process that you went through for Buried.
Well, Miriam and Charlotte have some great relationships with actresses they've worked and actors that they've worked together with on other shows. So it was really a combination of drawing from their network as well as making sure that when we approached a person that they were really right for that role.
Yeah.
Sid Brisbane, he is such a well-known Australian face, and he was just so perfect for Nigel, who's Abby's next-door neighbour in the series. And Genevieve Morris, you know, she plays a police officer in so many different shows. She is just a dab hand.
Yeah.
And she's really fabulous. You'd recognise her face from so many different things. Elisa Matengo, she is amazing. I don't know if you guys have caught Swift Street on SBS yet.
Yep.
Yeah, you have?
Yes, yep.
I actually haven't watched it yet, but she plays the antagonist in that, and she just brings so many layers to her character in Buried. Yeah, so it was a combination of drawing from Charlotte and Miriam's network and then just having, just approaching them and saying, would you do this? And when they read the scripts, they just said yes. I think a lot of the reason that actors say yes to projects is because they can really relate to the character. So we were really lucky in that regard.
And one of the things that I know a few people who have seen it have said to me as well is there any chance that this might become a feature film or something like that down the track? Because there's so many people out there that they keep on thinking that this could be so much more. Like, is there any plans for it to be extended, or have we got what's going to happen?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, so look, I'm never going to say never, because when an opportunity comes to make something and if this hits the right chord, then it should be made into something else. But when Charlotte and Miriam wrote it, they tried already to make it 8 times half an hour. But the jeopardy really is within the deadline of the school day.
Yep.
And I think sometimes a series success is really knowing what it is
Yeah.
And understanding that this series is a short, and they were able to write really snappy, really gorgeous, a really gorgeous series that we're able to actually make. I mean, the greater situation, like really with what's already happened, is like she's going to get caught. If when you watch a series, you'll say like, there's no way that she's not going to get caught.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I don't know what that looks like in the long form, and there's been a lot of questions about what happens between Heather Hobbs and Abby Cohen and all sorts of things. So look, I'm not going to say no, but what I hope for is that the team, Charlotte, Miriam, and I can take the concept of this series, the idea that it is mothers in the starring role, and the themes of motherhood and the burden of motherhood, and then take that further in another show. That's what I hope for it. But I'm never going to say never. We're not going to make something, a feature of it or anything like that. Like, of course, that would be loads of fun.
Definitely. Well, we do hope that the three of you keep working together. And I guess to finish off, first of all, you did say earlier on, but if people do want to check out Buried, where can they go to check out this marvelous series?
You can just look up the website, which is buriedtheseries.com. And as soon as you click on the homepage, every episode's there live to watch, to binge in your lounge room.
Yes, and to finish off, Fran, what would you like to say to people out there who are about to sit down and binge Buried over the next few days?
I'd like to say enjoy, and we are not very politically correct in this series, so just enjoy that and have fun.